Hey, what up, Cupcakes? So I've been cosplaying for several years now, but I only really started making my own cosplays from scratch just over a year ago. And while making my own cosplays has been seriously rewarding and such an awesome experience, there have been times, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, where making my own cosplay has just made me want to tear my hair out, or I've just felt like I'm banging my head against a brick wall. So during my times where I've been making cosplays, either when I've been feeling it's going really, really well, or when I'm feeling really frustrated, I've thought about the things that I could do perhaps to make my cosplay making experience more enjoyable, or get better results out of my cosplay making. And so from my little episodes of self-research, I've come up with 10 top tips for cosplay creating, which I think have really helped me and I hope will really help you. So without further ado, here are my top 10 tips for cosplay creators. Number 1, get researching. I have found that the more that I've researched the cosplay that I want to do, the better the results have been. Even if this includes playing the game that the character is from, watching the anime or the film that the character is from, or even just finding pictures on Google and just having a really close look at the costume that they're wearing, I find that this really helps me get into the mindset of creating that character. It also really helps when you're actually wearing the cosplay to portray that character in a more authentic way. Number 2, write a list. I often find it's really, really helpful to write a list of all the things that I'm going to need to create the cosplay. Sounds kind of obvious, but if you have that list, it helps you to visualize what you need, and when you go out to get the stuff you need, you end up having a much more successful shopping trip. Number 3, keep a record of costs. Not only is keeping a record of your general spending healthy for everyday life anyway, but also I found it really, really useful when I'm creating cosplays. Not only because it allows me to keep an eye on my budget and see how much I've got to play with, but it also allows me to think about the next cosplay I'm going to be making and have a general idea about how much it will cost me. That way I can then save up efficiently to make the next one. Number 4, be timely. This sounds kind of obvious, but do make sure that you give yourself plenty of time to make your cosplay before doing a shoot or going to a convention. There is nothing more stressful than being at the week before the con or the photo shoot and thinking, oh my god, this thing's half finished, I'm never going to get it done in time. So it's really helpful to break down your cosplay into different pieces and work out how long you think it might take to make each piece. Also factor in your working hours, how long outside of work have you got to make your cosplay. Also factor in other activities that you get up to and resting time. It helps make a timetable to visualise how long it's going to take you to make the cosplay. The more timely you are, the less stressed you will be, and in the long term the better your cosplay will be at the end. Number 5, take frequent breaks. It's really important to take frequent breaks during the cosplay making process, even if that's just to go out for a 5-minute walk, have a drink of water, make sure you're eating properly. It's really important to give your brain a rest and time to recuperate from the cosplay making process. Number 6, don't work on a cosplay if you're tired. This kind of leads on from number 5, but I think it's really important to mention that you should never make your cosplay when you're tired. I often find that when I'm making a cosplay and I'm really getting into it but I'm really tired, I start to make really bad mistakes and then I start to get frustrated and then I just feel like I just want to give up. It's really, really important to tell yourself to stop when you're feeling tired and take that rest that you need. Also, for any of you psychology enthusiasts out there, there is a theory that states that whenever you are struggling with a task, if you leave it for a little while, your subconscious works out how to do it for you. So by the time you come back to making your cosplay, your brain will have subconsciously worked out what you need to do and you'll be able to get on better. Number 7, talk to people about your cosplay. Cosplay making can not only be a physically exhausting process, but it can also be emotionally exhausting. Really important to go and talk to people about your cosplay, particularly if they're cosplay makers themselves, because they can relate to you on an emotional level about how you're feeling about the making process and help to comfort you and give you ideas and just generally make you feel better. Just in general life, it's a really good thing, but particularly when you're working on something you really care about, especially if it's getting difficult, it really is good to talk to people. Number 8, don't be afraid to ask for help. Kind of leads on from number 7, but it is really important if you are struggling and you feel you just cannot do your cosplay alone, that you don't be afraid to ask for help. Even if it's just to get someone over to hold something in place while you glue it or sew it or stick it, it can just be really uplifting. And actually having someone over to help you with your cosplay cosplay can be really good fun. When I was doing my Zero Suit Samus cosplay, my best friend came over and helped me to paint it. I put the blue morph suit on and she then stood with masking tape painting all the blue and black patches onto the morph suit, which was a really good giggle, especially when I ended up being covered in blue paint. Sometimes I appreciate this can be tricky, particularly if you have friends that aren't particularly creative or if you're a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to your cosplay making. But generally it really is good help if you've got a friend who is a bit creative and who is willing to give you a helping hand. And on that note, also do offer to help people with their cosplays if you feel that they are struggling, because you never know, you might learn something new. Number 9, be creative. A lot of people seem to have very specific or strict guidelines to how they make things, and sometimes this can be a bit of a creative block, particularly if those things aren't working very well. For example, I grew up with Art Attack, and therefore usually my way of doing stuff, particularly for modelling, is with paper mache. I have to admit sometimes this isn't the best option. So it's really important to just be really open-minded when you're making your cosplay and think, is there a better way that I could be doing this? For example, when I was making the little gold jewellery bits on poker sleeves, I was thinking about doing paper mache, but then I thought, well, what's a better, more durable way of doing it? And I came up with the idea of modelling clay. But then not only was I expanding my creative ideas, I was also learning new skills. So in sum, just try and be creative with it and think of different things you can do. Finally, number 10, have fun. Clue is in the name cosplay. Play is all about fun, and cosplay is about having fun while dressed up. But never forget, it's not just about wearing the cosplay that should be fun, but the making process that brought you to wearing it. So make sure you have a really good time while doing it, because at the end of the day, what else is it for? So there you have it, those are my top 10 tips for cosplay creating. I really hope you found this video helpful and enjoyable. I know the tips have really helped me when I'm cosplay making, so I really do hope they help you too. If you like this video, please leave me a comment below, and if you didn't like it, I'm very open to tips on how to improve, so if you'd like to comment those below too, I'd really appreciate it. And finally, please look at the description box below for links to my Facebook page, my Instagram account and my Tumblr, where you can see all my cosplay progress and what I get up to. So as usual, thanks so much for watching, Cupcakes, and I'll see you very soon for my next video. Bye for now!